Alrighty guys, welcome back to Star Wars Review. Today I'm reviewing Star Wars Tales of the Jedi Episode 4, The Sith Lord, which was written by Dave Filoni and directed by Saul Ruiz, and was released on October 26, 2022, which was another incredible short. It's the last of the three Dooku shorts, which, I really loved all three of them. I'm not sure if it's this one or the first one is my favorite, but I do, really like both of them. And the second one I also liked a good bit too. But this short does take place during The Phantom Menace. And we do get a lot of answers to stuff. Like what happened to Yaddle, how Kamino was deleted from the Jedi archives, and a couple other things. Obviously, with Yaddle, it's not very happy. It's in fact a terrible end for her. But I really loved getting Yaddle in a big role, definitely for what is her final moments. But the short is about Dooku fully becoming a Sith Lord. At the start of the short, it's pretty obvious that he's already in league with Palpatine. We see him at the Jedi archives deleting all the info on Kamino. But as he leaves, he asks Jocasta Nu what's kind of going on. He seems like there's a lot of stuff going on in the temple, which she says that Qui-Gon Jinn has encountered a Sith Lord, obviously referring to Darth Maul. But in the next scene, we see Qui-Gon, voiced by Liam Neeson, talking with Yaddle and meeting up with Dooku, which, they talk about the council and then not believing Qui-Gon. But they also talk about Obi-Wan, which was a nice scene. Also kind of a very grim scene, because, it was the last time Dooku and Qui-Gon see each other. But, I like getting Liam Neeson back as Qui-Gon, even though it wasn't that long before this that, he appeared at the very end of the Obi-Wan series. But I love Qui-Gon, and so I'm always excited to see more of him. But then cuts later after the death of Qui-Gon, and we see Dooku by the tree at the Jedi Temple, and Yaddle comes and talks to him about Qui-Gon and the funeral. Dooku mentions how he would bring Qui-Gon to this tree when Qui-Gon was younger, because, Qui-Gon is from Coruscant, so, it was some of the only life, I guess, plant life on the planet. But Dooku says that he's not going to go to the funeral because he probably wouldn't, be wanted there from the Jedi Council and whatnot. Which Yaddle asks him if he holds the council accountable, which Dooku just says, Qui-Gon Jinn is one with the Force, and that's time to let him go. Which she asks him if he can do that, and he says, what choice do I have? And he walks away and goes to the hangar and takes the ship and flies out, which Yaddle follows him, which he goes to Palpatine's secret hideout on the other side of Coruscant. I always find a secret hideout funny. I don't know. It's just like, it's just there. But we see Yaddle land on the side of the building. But Dooku goes in and talks to Palpatine, telling him that he went too far in killing Qui-Gon. But Palpatine says he lost Maul also. It's not like he was the only one to lose anyone. And, Qui-Gon, or Dooku says Qui-Gon would have been a powerful ally, which Palpatine does say, for you, but not for me. But, they talk about everything with the clones and Kamino and whatnot. Briefly, just kind of quick mentions and whatnot. But Yaddle then reveals herself, which Palpatine wonders if he's been betrayed by Dooku. But Dooku says no, and he goes to confront Yaddle, which she tries to get him to come with her and turn in Palpatine, which Dooku realizes she's heard everything and knows what he and Palpatine have done, which Palpatine says to Dooku to prove his loyalty, he must kill her, which Yaddle tries again to make Dooku come with her, and Dooku says he's afraid, which she says, I know, but he continues, I'm afraid it is too late, and he brings out his lightsaber and goes after Yaddle, which have a lightsaber fight, and whatnot. During it, Yaddle reveals that she left the council and that Dooku was right about everything, but, saying all this isn't doing anything, so she does try to get away, but Dooku kind of knocks her down, and then she's on the like hangar door, and Dooku shuts the big hangar door on her, seemingly killing her, which is when Palpatine starts to come over to him, basically starting the, I guess, knighting. I don't know what it would be called for a Sith. I don't know the terminology. Maybe it's exactly the same. But while that's going on, Yaddle uses the Force to lift the door up, which was such a great moment, and also was a great use of the Force theme in the series. I think is probably the only time they use like John Williams' original, Star Wars music in this series. And for this scene, I can't remember any other scene in any of the other shorts. But even though that scene was really badass and I really liked it, she's too weak and she falls to the ground, and Dooku walks over to her, telling her he just wanted to bring peace and order to the galaxy, which she responds by saying, "So many have already suffered from what he calls order," which he then says, "Let me give you peace," and kills her. And the short ends with kind of shots lingering on Dooku and then Palpatine. But like I said, this short was great. I really, really loved it. Like I mentioned earlier, I loved getting more of Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon. I also loved getting a big story with Yaddle, and I loved how she played into a big moment for Dooku. One thing, it's kind of related, but Dooku's master was Yoda, and so is neat to see another Yoda species play a big part in Dooku's story. But Yaddle also, she was voiced by Bryce Dallas Howard in this episode. Thought she did good in the role. Obviously, she's for Star Wars mostly known as a director for the Mandalorian, and she did an episode of Book of Boba Fett also, which are episodes in the Mandalorian season 2, the chapter 11 was great, and her Book of Boba Fett episode was great too. But cool to see her doing a more acting role for Star Wars, because obviously before really the Mandalorian, she mainly just did the acting. She might have done a little bit of directing, I'm not fully sure. But if Yaddle appears again in any other story, I hope she plays Yaddle again, or voices Yaddle again. But obviously that moment with Yaddle lifting door was such a great badass moment also. But that moment also made the next scene of her, death just so much more devastating. So I really enjoyed that. But the only thing I'd say, and I would say this is more of a nitpick, was I wish the lightsaber fight with them was maybe a little longer, and maybe just a little bit better. That's really it, honestly, and that's more of a nitpick. It was perfectly fine in the episode. Just wish there was more to it. But that was the same thing with the other two Dooku shorts. The only negative thing I had to say about them was I just wish they were longer because they were so good. But then again, they told a perfect story in this small amount of time. So that's perfectly fine, because sometimes the shorter the better. So yeah, but all in all, I thought it was a great short. I really, really loved it. My grade, I'm going to give it an A+. So yeah, that's going to be it for this one. You could check out my reviews on all the other shorts. I should have reviews for the final 2 Ahsoka shorts coming out soon, so you can check those out then. But in the meantime, I was Arzu, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.